Everyone. Today we're going to talk about subtracting rational numbers and how that is very similar to adding rational numbers. To get us started, we can subtract rational numbers just as you would subtract integers. That's why we study integers first. To subtract two numbers, we add its opposite. We're going to keep the first number the same. We're going to change subtraction to addition. And we're going to change the sign of the second number. So that means that if the second number is positive, we're going to make it negative. And if the second number is negative, then we're going to change it to be positive. Next, what we do is we evaluate the expression. The word evaluate has the word value in it. So when we evaluate, we find the value of the expression. To add decimals, we need to line up the place values or line up the decimal points. Add as you normally would, then bring the decimal down into the difference or the sum. To add fractions, they must have common denominators. Keep the denominators the same and add the numerators. Now we're going to find the difference for these two problems. So first thing we have to do is we have to find common denominators. So a common denominator is a number that 6 can divide into and that 3 can divide into. There are lots to choose from, but I'm going to use 6. Six times 1 is 6, so negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. I don't need to change that. 3 times 2 is 6, so 2 times 2 is 4. Now what I do is I change the subtraction to be addition, and I change the sign of the second number. Now I add them like normal, so negative 5 sixths plus negative 4 sixths is negative 9 sixths. So you could circle that as your answer. You could also try to simplify it. So you can divide 9 and 6 by 3. So you can divide by 3, divide by 3. So negative 9 divided by 3 is negative 3. That's why we studied division earlier. And 6 divided by 3 is 2. You could circle this as your answer too. Or you could make this a mixed number. 2 goes into 3 one time, so that's negative 1, with 1 over 2 remaining. And that's another way to write your answer. On the right-hand side, we have 1 minus negative 82 hundredths. So we take the subtraction sign and we make it addition, and then we change the sign of the second number. So what we have now is we have 1 plus positive 82 hundredths. So some of you might not need to write this out, but if you do, this is what we do, is we write down the place values, we line them up. So notice how the hundredths are lined up, the tenths are lined up, the whole numbers are lined up. and then we add like we normally would. And that's our answer. Flip the page over because I just want to get you prepped for the back. So for each problem, remember that you're going to change each subtraction problem to be an addition problem. And you're going to use the opposite of the second number. So for this number here, for this problem, remember you're going to change it to be addition of negative 2/9. Over here, you're going to change this to be addition of a positive 55/100. Right here, you're going to change this to be addition of positive 6. And here, you're going to make it addition of positive 3 4/10. In this example, you're going to change it to be addition of 5 1/7. And this is going to be plus negative 5 68/100. These last two problems are challenge problems, but they're similar to what you did last year. So last year you learned how to solve equations that have just addition. And so to solve an addition equation like this, what we do is we subtract. So we subtract 2/3, we subtract 2/3. And so if I write the problem out horizontally, we have negative 4/5 minus 2/3. So you would find a common denominator and then change this to be addition of negative 2/3. Find a common denominator and then add like you normally would. This problem, since we're adding 8 9/10 to the variable, we're going to subtract 8 9/10. Both sides. What I like to do is I like to write the problem out horizontally. So I have 2 75/100, negative 2 75/100 minus 8 9/10. Change this to be plus a negative. And now I'm adding two negatives together. So I would just line up the decimal points, line up the decimal place values, and then find my answer and make sure my answer is negative. I want to just come back here to number 5. So in number 5, we first need to find the best common denominator. So that would be 2 7/70 plus negative 5 10/70. Now, when we look at these numbers, we know that we're going to end with a negative answer because we have more negative than we do positive. So what we do is we subtract them in order of largest absolute value minus the smallest absolute value. Find our answer. Remember to make sure the answer is negative. So you're going to go ahead and do the rest of these problems with your partners and then show me when you're done. Then we have an exit slip to complete before you're done with the class. All right, let's get started.